A man who, along with his co-authors, meticulously tracked every moment, every sortie, every signal in the skies. Tom Cooper uncovers the truth behind the Rafale bogey, what happened in that first initial hour and who owned it, the mysterious Kirana Hills, the nuclear bluff, and from being spooked, smoked and smashed, the entire battle behind the headlines is finally revealed. What actually happened with Pakistan in Operation Sindoor. In his revelatory new book, aviation analyst and also military historian Tom Cooper lays bare the untold events within Operation Sindoor. And it's called the 88 Hours War, the India-Pakistan War of May 2025. I've got the book here. We've got a copy. It's out in Bharat also. It was released in the UK internationally about 2 months ago. We've got the book. Let's first ask Tom Cooper. This must feel very, very good.
Yes, absolutely. It was a piece of very tough work, weeks long research and digging to the social media in particular, with help of not only three fantastic researchers who are professionals and doing this for years already, but also two additional gentlemen from India who have helped with their own research.
So there's Ravi Rikhe, Sanjay Badri Maharaj and also Mangesh Sawant, so credit to them too. But Tom Cooper, you led this conversation. Let me first ask you this. Yes. Who won this war?
Well, this is India, this is clear. This is beyond any kind of doubt that it was India. As I said already back then in May, June last year, a clear-cut victory for India, and one of very few wars of the last 30, 40, 50 years where there is such a clear outcome like in this one.
Okay, let's recreate the first few hours, viewers. I'm just going to quickly take you through what happened, and it's chronicled in this book. This is all from the book excerpt. So first up, the India strike on Pakistan, as the idea, the information that was already given. We'll ask Tom to express it and explain to us in detail. The IAF strike window was between 1:04 to 1:24 a.m. This was the strike window, and these were the areas that had been struck, the terror hubs, the terror notion. The weapons were fired over Pakistani airspace. The PAF's response was delayed by minutes, and the first reaction was at 0036 Pakistan Standard Time. So this was the first reaction at 0036 Pakistan Standard Time. And also Rawalpindi, one SAM site, there was that was fired. Missiles were fired.
Missiles, yes.
Yeah, and missiles were fired from the Noor Khan Air Base also, and also there was the HQ-9 missiles that turned towards Akhrur axis, and targets were hit in Muridke area. No IAF aircraft was hit by the surface-to-air missile.
That is one of the most amazing. It is one of the most amazing things about this. The one goes through the reports by Pakistani people, civilians, like us, reporting what is going on in all these areas. They report no movement by Pakistani aircraft. They report no movement by Pakistani aircraft, even at air bases where it is known that Pakistan Air Force is holding its fighters on quick reaction alert. Nothing. They report merely firings of two SAMs from one base and three from Noor Khan. So, and that at the time, the Indian Air Force strike must have been in full gear. That means the aircraft have already approached the border. They're climbing and releasing their weaponry before turning down to hide in the lower over the ground. That means Pakistani Air Force, by all of its claims, whatever was its claiming, for example, Air Vice Marshal Ahmad during his famous press conference, he was claiming about how Pakistani Air Force moved in, and there was a huge air battle, and they were breaking Indian bones.
There was a dogfight and all of that.
The biggest dogfight of all the times and whatever else. Nothing of that kind has happened. Indian Air Force has hit its targets and flew away. That's it.
That's it. So there was no, because there was also that, was there a PAF interception that happened? Because they said that there was an interceptor that was fired. What was fired by the Pakistanis? What was the PL-15s?
It is possible that one of the Pakistani J-10s has fired a single PL-15 at one of involved Indian aircraft, but this missile has crashed, hit the ground inside India. That's it. Not one Indian aircraft was shot down by them.
Not one Indian aircraft was shot down. Let's sit back, because what the narrative was that, and they say that this PL-15 actually fell down near Pandhar in Gurdaspur. The impact was 30 kilometers inside Bharat, and the Army Air Defense actually reacted first. But my question to you is, in that 1 hour, there was a lot of speculation that was made, Tom. And what have you found in the book? If you look at it, you say the spark. You've given a background to why India did it. When you did the, the jihad import-export, that's the page that I've just opened. So let's understand this. Were you convinced as a military historian that Bharat was right in conducting Operation Sindoor?
For a simple reason that Pakistan is, as we said, we have written jihad import-export. It is organizing, training, supporting, commanding jihadists for 50 years, constantly searching for new ways to organize new organizations or new groups to find them. And this is nothing new in that sense. It might be new for somebody in the United States or Europe, but it is not new for India. It is even less so new for Pakistanis. They are even denying it sometimes, that they are doing anything. On the other hand, they have chiefs of their top political parties openly declaring their political parties as fronts of this jihadist movements.
Right.
So therefore, and that's what I pointed out, even 9/11 in the United States was original mastermind came from Pakistan. And he was trained by inter-service intelligence and later on arrested in Pakistan and jailed in the United States. So therefore, it is really Pakistan which is a center of well, international jihadism.
Right. And you've also listed the kind of organizations where the ISI instigated over 12,000 attacks, all undertaken by organizations like the Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Hizbul Mujahideen.
Yeah, we went through the records and counted over, so this is since the year 2001, over 12,000 terrorist attacks inside India. Without Kashmir, and another several hundreds inside Kashmir, of course.
Right. We'll come back to the Operation Sindoor conversation in a bit. We've just got more news coming through on the ongoing fury in the Gulf, so just deviating there. This is Iranian drones have hit Azerbaijan's Nakhchivan. Now, what does this mean, Tom?
Well, the Iranians have concluded that Azerbaijan is directly cooperating with Israel in this case, in its aggression on Iran. Azerbaijan was suspected of doing so already last year in June, but it was fiercely denying it. Now it seems the Iranians have concluded this is a matter of fact, for one reason or another.
Now, these are Iranian drones again. So
yes,
again,
you can hear the sound. It's typical. It is Shahid.
That's the Shahid 136 again. So the Iranians seem to have an unlimited stockpile of Shahid 136. Is that possible? And every time they're trying to use low-cost kamikaze drones to impact, how will the Azerbaijanis respond now?
That is going to be interesting, because theoretically Pakistani armed forces are excellently trained, excellently equipped, partially with Israeli equipment, especially UAVs and such stuff. So that means they are likely to go in and counter-attack Iran.
Counter-attack Iran. Now, if Azerbaijan actually weighs into this
direction, Tabriz.
From Tabriz. So again, from the north, there is Iran has then again opened up another front. Can they actually afford to have so many fronts, because they are now surrounded from all sides? Pakistanis are helping from here. The Azerbaijanis come here. They've also issued threats to the Kurds, and they have attacked the Kurdistan region, and also from here and the Gulf countries whom they have gone ahead and bombed. So this dynamic here, do you believe Iran will be able to defend this?
I cannot say I know what the leadership of the IRGC or what was left of the same things. And I'm not supporting or anything. I'm just can explain what have I learned after nearly 40 years of studying, between others, them as well. Primarily because, especially at earlier times, I was deeply involved into studying Iran-Iraq war. To them, it doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
To them, it doesn't matter anymore, because they are facing their death, destruction. Therefore, they are striking wherever they only can.
Right.
And whether now Azerbaijan is going to join some kind of a US-led coalition, which is then invading Iran or trying to dissolve it or whatever,
right.
We're going to see. But the IGC is going to fight.
All right. Now, let's take this back and bring it back to the Operation Sindoor conversation and ask you, contrary to India having clear objectives, do you believe the biggest difference, why this war lasted only 88 hours, because India had its objectives clear? Would you say that?
India had a clear objective, which was to retaliation strike against terror. This was as clear as it can get. What is less clear was Pakistani objective. The country was, at the time this terrorist attack in Pulwama was instigated.
Right.
Pakistan was in deep economic troubles.
Right.
There was, disorder in the country, protesting, riots. There was uncertainty. Which way is the government going to develop, and so on and so on. And they were in deep financial troubles. So anyway,
right.
Just like they are for decades already.
Right.
So, what exactly was Pakistan's aim? This is unclear. But Indian
objectives were very clear.
Yes.
Let's try and break down that first hour. We put out where that 104 to 124 was where were India's strikes. Now, what happens from the Pakistani Air Force counter? So, at 1 a.m., the jets are scrambled from Sargodha. At 1:08 p.m., the jets are scrambled from Noor Khan Air Base.
Yes.
At 1:09, jets are reported over Islamabad. And at 1:15, the first scramble from Peshawar and Kamra actually happens. And then at 1:25, more jets from Noor Khan Air Base happen. 10 to 16 fighters from Musaf Air Base. Just talk us through this. Were they slow in response?
They were slow in response.
Major Manik Jolly is also with us. Good afternoon, Major Manik Jolly. Yeah.
Yes. So they have started scrambling their fighters when it was too late.
Right.
They need their 5 to 10 minutes to get to the combat zone. And by the time they have got to the combat zone, due to being scrambled so late, the Indian Air Force was already away. It was returning back to bases.
Right.
That means the Pakistanis scrambled their fighters, sent them towards the border and found nothing. They could only see Indian Air Force fighters with their radars, detect them distancing away towards the east.
East. But the Pakistanis claim they actually downed 3 Rafale. The Pakistanis claim that they downed them even before the Rafales could take off from our area. No, is that true?
That is all lots of ballooning.
Yeah.
What happened was the following. They did not, the Rafale, for example, were involved in strikes in the south. And they have countered Pakistani SAMs, invaded them and distanced safely. Nothing happened at all. Indeed, nothing happened for almost an hour after Indian Air Force strikes.
Okay.
And then there was the first explosion and first reports about aircraft coming down in this area, in south of Srinagar. Then there was report about another jet coming down in this area. Then there were reports about air combats in this area, and so on and so on. But this was all happening 1 hour after strikes by Indian Air Force. And 1 hour might not be a lot to us, but it is a life for the pilots, because on average a fighter jet remains airborne for something like 1 hour.
Right.
Okay, with extra fuel and so on, it can remain airborne even for 2 hours or longer.
Correct.
But principally, a mission of this kind, like Indian Air Force has undertaken, lasts 1 hour at most. That's it. After that time, the aircraft is out of fuel and back at base.
So then what are these aircrafts which were reportedly downed in Srinagar and in Punjab? What were you able to find out?
Okay, so now there are very contradictory reports in this regard. For example, south of Srinagar, there were reports about 2 jets coming down almost next to each other around the same time, almost simultaneously. And there are now first reports were that these were JF-17s, Pakistani Air Force. Question would be, what were they doing that deep over Srinagar, over India?
Right.
Then all the reporting in this regard was muted. And there were just rumors that there was something else.
Okay.
There was also videos of wreckage in the darkness and so on and so on, but never have we seen this wreckage in clear light, so to clearly recognize what it was. Probably one of them was a GS-17.
Was a JF-17. Yes. So it could have been a Pakistani aircraft that could have been downed, is what you're saying, because India doesn't have JF-17s.
Exactly.
So clearly, Now, the Indian objective, they say, Major Manik Jolly is also with us. In your book, does it cover that India had offered warning that we are going to strike? Did they tell the Pakistanis this? And were the objectives very clear that not a single military installation or any other civilian installation is going to be hit in the first leg of Op Sindoor, only the terror infrastructure? Were you able to get that information?
Yes,
because that's what India's claiming.
Yes, of course. We have used official source in this case. New Delhi has clearly said once these strikes were over, New Delhi has used the hotline or whatever line to call Islamabad to explain the purpose of the mission and to say we were striking terror targets only.
Right.
This is absolutely another point beyond any doubt.
Right. Now, you've opened page 57. Why have you opened this?
Because this is including the map comparing, for example, the Pakistani claims with actually known sites where something has crashed.
Right.
And with positions where PL-15 air-to-air missiles, wreckage of PL-15 was found.
Right.
And as can be seen, whatever the Pakistani Air Force in particular was claiming, it's not making particular sense because, because it is in a different area than actually something happened. And it's always at least 20 kilometers difference between them.
Right.
So, point is, first and most of operations that have taken place south of Srinagar, between Srinagar and Akhnur and Udhampur, in this area. Right. This is where 4 crashes have been reported. Right. Pakistan was reporting these crashes closer to Akhnur. Right. Okay, as ever they like. Then there was another clash that is west of Bathinda. Yeah, so here also they claimed a Rafale, here they claimed a Rafale, here they claimed a Rafale. So they claimed 3 Rafales. They have initially claimed 3 Rafales plus 1 UAV. Then they increased the number to 4, then to 5 Rafale. It was almost like if every month they would add 1 Rafale. And I think the latest 10 is at 11. 11, correct. Where they are not precisely. But they also claimed the Sukhoi 30 MKI. No. This is excuse me, now to correct you here. This is a yes, PEF claim. They claims Su-30, but I've named it this way because this is probably a Su-30, not. But if you look at the squadrons, there don't seem to be aircraft missing. India put out all its squadrons also recently on the air show. Most of them, yes. Point is this: India has shown, for example, 2 of Rafales. As far as I know, 2 of Rafales Pakistan has claimed as shot down. There were specifically serial numbers 001, 021, 022, 027, and as far as I know, India has shown 022 and 027 at least, if not 021 as well. So there is only one, which is visually confirmed. Anyway, this is the jet that came down west of Bathinda that early morning, has mortally injured one Indian farmer and killed another. Right. So this is a matter of fact. This jet has come down. I'm not disputing this, and there is no point to disputing it. So the jet has come down, but was it a Rafale? Rafale, yes. There is a well-known photograph in the social media. It is confirmed that it is authentic, and foremost the way serial number, national flag were applied, and the name Rafale are authentic. Right. So they say that this is authentic. So that means there is at least 1 Rafale that fell down. Rafale, but this was not in the initial hours. Was it in the... No. This was not in the initial strikes. What happened was that about half an hour after the Indian retaliation strike on terror camps in Pakistan, Pakistani Air Force began attacking Indian Air Force fighters flying combat air patrols at over India. Right. And deep over India. Right. For example, in Srinagar area, this is well-known CAP station because this is an air base. Correspondingly, Indian Air Force is regularly patrolling this area. Right. And they have first attacked these fighters. They were, I said, they were confusing reports about how many of what aircraft were shot down. Right. There was obviously a severe missile exchange. Right. That was the earliest. Right. Then, in the south, in Bathinda area, where, as far as we have learned, okay, this is unofficial, but one of Indian pilots has avoided some 6 or 7 missiles, Pakistani missiles. Another has avoided at least as many, and then one has detonated close enough behind his jet. And that is this Rafale BS 001, which crashed into the field west of Bathinda. Right. And then there was another clash in between, in the, well, let's say northeast of Amritsar, a group of, Indian Air Force aircraft was attacked by Pakistanis by a combination of SAMs and air-to-air missiles, fired over very long ranges.
Okay.
It did. You can also read in the book. A Chinese contact was highly displeased over the number of PL-15s the Pakistanis have fired that night. He was talking about 20, then later increased this to 30. This means it could be even more. But very low number of these have scored kills.
Right.
Have actually hit something in India.
Right.
So he was very displeased about this outcome.
That so many PL-15s were fired, but hardly any had actually been hit. Major Manik Jolly is with us. He's listening carefully. 88 hours war, the India-Pakistan war of May 2025 on Operation Sindoor. Tom Cooper there very clearly busting all the claims that the Pakistanis had made and saying that this is the proof, this is where it lies. India won that hands down in 88 hours. Major Manik Jolly.
Thank you, Anand, and thank you, Tom. I've been listening very carefully to every word that you've been saying. It's fantastic to hear such detailed, transcript.
We have Manju Seth also joining us. We'll go to her after you. Yes, Major Manik Jolly. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, please.
No problem. So what Tom just said actually reinforces what we've been saying so far. In a single statement, like he said, it always comes up, who won the war? Because at the end of the day, you need a kind of a binary standing on what is the outcome, who won, who lost. So his analysis as one of the most reputed military historian and, especially air specialist, and this being an air war, this being drone and aircrafts and missiles only, I think his word should be taken as an authority that if India did win, it kind of takes away all the propaganda that the Pakistanis have been projecting all over their country, international media, and trying to say we shot 11 jets, none of us, our bases were hit, this, that, everything.
Right.
The whole lies lay bare. And I think his book should be made mandatory to be read by everyone and be quoted wherever possible to tell the Pakistanis that this is how it is done. And final word on this is, Anand, that I think a review, it would be very good if we do a review of Op Sindoor now, having more details that we have. You remember during Op Sindoor, we were doing point-to-point brief in your studio.
Right.
Now would be a good time that we have all the data to go over all the speculations that we have then. And now we have data and come to a point that, yes, we did win this emphatically and finally.
Right. Just quickly, even the nuclear bluff, page 16 talks about the nuclear bluff. Manjuji, the whole bluff about Kirana Hills and this nuclear bluff, somewhere has Bharat also been able to show that the entire nuclear bogey and the levels of deterrence beneath the nuclear threshold?
Yeah, I think as very rightly mentioned by the other panelists, this was something which India, I think, did not move into the narrative war so quickly. And I think that's one of the reasons why we were not able, that's why people did not get the exact picture. But with all the actual data coming out, I think it has something, it has put light and put facts in place. And I think the nuclear deterrent that Pakistan claims to have still, I think it has, it has been damaged. And I believe that going forward, but I'm not sure they've already restarted, their nuclear program because they have many, behind the scenes partners to help them do that. So we don't know yet, but it seems that it has been destroyed. But a nuclear threat that they keep issuing, seems exposed right now with the actual information.
Right. Final word on the nuclear bluff. Yes.
We are discussing this in the book as well. There is a huge nuclear program in Pakistan. They are spending billions, 2 billions unknown to be spent in order just to maintain it per year. This is without production of weaponry and so on. So there is a huge program. But apparently, considering what has happened last year, it's useless. Why? Because they do not have platforms, that means fighter jets and missiles or missiles that could be used to dependably deploy this against India.
Right.
And if you have nuclear weapons, but you don't have the means to deploy them,
what's the point
to bring
of
them to the
them?
enemy, then it's absolutely pointless having them.
Pointless to have them. Well, for the rest of it, we're not going to tell you more. There is also the entire PL-15 bogey and the bluff. But for that, you'll have to get this book from the bookstore and read it. And it's a must read. Very, very engaging. This is part of the Asia at War series that's been authored by Tom Cooper and the others. 88 Hours War, the India-Pakistan War of May 25. Congratulations on this book, and thank you, Tom. Thank you very, very much.
Very much my pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
Thank you. Thank you.